World War I, often called the Great War, was one of the deadliest conflicts in history, reshaping the political, cultural, and geographical landscape of the 20th century. The war began in July 1914 and lasted until November 1918, involving most of the world's major powers. It started with the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary, which ignited long-standing tensions in Europe. Soon, alliances between major nations pulled countries into the conflict on two main sides: the Allies, primarily France, Britain, and Russia, and the Central Powers, mainly Germany, Austria-Hungary, and the Ottoman Empire. The war was characterized by trench warfare, a brutal and grueling form of combat. Soldiers from both sides dug extensive networks of trenches where they lived for months, enduring horrific conditions, disease, and constant danger. The Western Front, in particular, saw some of the deadliest battles, such as the Battle of the Somme and the Battle of Verdun. Machine guns, poison gas, tanks, and aircraft were introduced, changing the nature of warfare forever. These new technologies led to unprecedented levels of death and destruction. Despite early hopes for a swift victory, the war dragged on for 4 years. In 1917, the United States entered the conflict on the side of the Allies, providing fresh troops and resources that eventually helped tip the balance. Meanwhile, Russia withdrew from the war following the Bolshevik Revolution, which toppled the Russian government. The war ended on November 11, 1918, when Germany agreed to an armistice, exhausted from years of fighting and internal unrest. The Treaty of Versailles, signed in 1919, formally ended the war and imposed harsh penalties on Germany, including territorial losses, military restrictions, and large reparations payments. These terms would fuel resentment and economic hardship in Germany, setting the stage for World War II. World War I had far-reaching consequences. Empires collapsed, including the Austro-Hungarian, Ottoman, German, and Russian empires, leading to the creation of new nations across Europe and the Middle East. The war also profoundly affected society, as millions of soldiers and civilians died, and many survivors were left physically and mentally scarred. The conflict introduced total war, where entire nations mobilized their economies, industries, and societies for the war effort, blurring the lines between military and civilian targets. Politically, the war reshaped the global order. The League of Nations was established in an effort to prevent future conflicts, though it ultimately failed. The social and cultural impact of the war was immense, giving rise to movements such as pacifism and changing attitudes toward war and authority. Literature, art, and philosophy reflected the disillusionment and trauma experienced by those who lived through the conflict. In short, World War I was a catastrophic and transformative event. It marked the end of old empires, the birth of new nations, and the beginning of modern warfare, shaping the course of the 20th century.